Good morning, children. Today we are going to see chapter number 3, the world of microorganisms. It's a very, very interesting topic, and you'll find so many new things to learn in this topic. Are you guys ready? Okay, let's go on. So, you might have watched your mother adding some buttermilk to the leftover milk so that next day you can eat curd. Why? Did you ever think that? Okay, so now sometimes when we put some food and if you don't use that, that will spoil. Why? Why does it spoil? You might have observed that your mouth smells in the morning if you try to talk with your friends and all. No, they when they come near you and they talk to you, and if they are very close to you, definitely they'll say your mouth stinks. So they smell of your mouth, go and wash your mouth, or else they will turn away their faces, or they will move to a bit distance. Because if you don't wash your mouth in the morning, if you don't brush your teeth in the morning, your mouth usually stinks. It smells. Now, what are all the reasons behind this? That is what we are going to learn in this particular unit, which is called as Microorganisms Part 1. Okay. Now coming to the story of microorganisms. Okay. Story of invention and discovery of microorganisms. Microbiology. Microbiology is a subject which deals with the microorganisms. Okay, so there was a scientist whose name is Antony van Leeuwenhoek. There's a story that he's a fabric merchant. He used to check the quality of the clothes. He used to check the quality. So what kind of quality is there and all, like if the quality of the cloth which they are going to use is good or not. So they used to check it with a lens, isn't it? A magnifying lens. So now that idea made him make a powerful microscope. Okay, so the idea which he got, it made him make a powerful microscope. And Leeuwenhoek, he built a single lens powerful microscope which can easily magnify the object around 300 times. So, and now he wanted to observe more and more things. So he has a great ability with using his capability. He made more powerful lens so that he can magnify the object more than 300 times. So like that, by the time 1678, he made several microscopes, okay, with different magnifications, and then he started looking several things under the microscope. He saw the pond water, he saw the blood and whatnot, and whenever he saw those kind of things and all, he saw that there are some tiny things which are moving in there, and these are not visible to the naked eye. You cannot see them. Even if you try to close one of your eye and look it very clearly also, you cannot see them. They're not distinct at all. So now this is a wonderful discovery actually, because people never know that there are some thousands and crores of living organisms which are which are very, very small, living around them, along with them. And when he saw them, he named them as animalcules. What he named them as? Animalcules. So after that, after he named these animalcules, and he is the first person to discover the animalcules, isn't it? So animalcules are nothing but the microorganisms. It is also said that he is the first person to discover the bacteria. What he saw under the microscope is the bacteria, and the whole world was astonished to hear such news that there are some crores of living organisms which are very, very tiny, which are very, very small, living around them. Now, coming to the microorganisms. Microorganisms, these are absolutely very, very small, and you cannot see them with the naked eye. So you have to observe them under the microscope. Here you can see some of the microorganisms which you cannot see with your naked eye. You can see coccus, bacillus, lactobacillus, okay, penicillium, rhizopus, aspergillus, And coming to the protozoans, you can see amoeba, paramecium, and vorticella. So these are all the different types of bacteria, fungus, and protozoa. The first three you can see are the examples of bacteria. Bacteria are very, very tiny microorganisms which lives in soil or water, okay, or in the air, and you cannot see them. Examples are coccus, bacillus, and lactobacillus. Second line, you can see the fungi, right? And you might have seen a bread which is stale, which is decaying. You can see some black spots on that, isn't it? So those are all the bread molds. And you can see the aspergillus in that. You can see the penicillium. Penicillium is a fungus from which the medicine called as antibiotic called as penicillin is discovered. Okay, we'll see that in the next unit. And third group is protozoa. Here also you can see amoeba, paramecium, and vorticella. So these are all the examples of different microorganisms. And next one is the activity 1, microorganisms in water. So here you can see algae. Algae are the microorganisms which live usually in the water. Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra, diatom, Spirulina, Oedogonium, and Serratium. So these are the different kinds of algae which are usually found in the water. Then there are some microarthropods, okay, microarthropods which usually live in the animals, in the human beings, and whatnot, where not. So you can see Cyclops, Daphnia, scabious mite, and eyelash mite. So these are all the different microorganisms you can see in the different animals. For example, if you take the eyelash mite, it usually is present on the eyelids. Scabious mite usually lives in the human body and causes the itching sensation. Like this, you can find several arthropods which are really very, very tiny, and also which are naked, which are so small that we cannot see with our naked eye. Okay, now how you can find microorganisms in the water? So it's very simple process here. Okay, what you can do here is you can collect some pond water, or if you have any water tanks, you can also go there, and you can see some greenish kind of scrapings on the tanks, isn't it? The kind of greenish things and all, no? Like you can take them, and or else if there's a pond water, you can take 1 or 2 drops of pond water and take a slide. In the picture you can take a slide, see the slide, the glass slide, and put some pond water on that and directly observe under the microscope. So if you observe under the microscope, you can see some of the things which live in the pond water. Especially you can see the Chlamydomonas or Spirogyra, diatom. So all the things, like which live in the water, you can see some of them, and you can make some rough sketches in your books and all. So that is how you can find the microorganisms in the water. So now coming to the observing the fungi. Fungi is also one of the group, but some of them are very much visible to our naked eye. Okay, for example, you can see dead logs where you can see the growth of the mushrooms. In the picture, like you can see the mushrooms, isn't it? So in Telugu we call them as puttagodugulu, right? On the dead and decaying part, even in the garbage also you can see the growth of the mushrooms over here, right? Isn't it? And also you can observe some white color patches on the trunks of the trees, on the bark of the trees. All these white patches which are here are also nothing but the fungi. So this fungi you can easily see here. So now here fungus. Okay, how to observe the fungus, which you can see here, the white color patches, or else you can see the mushrooms which are growing on the dead logs. These are all the examples of the fungus. And moreover, you can see a bread, put some water on that, keep it aside, don't let it dry. If it is drying, put some more water on that, and within no time you can see the black color spots. Or else if you try to put it near your nose, it usually smells, isn't it? And even the pickles also, if you add very less amount of salt also, a white color layer will form over there. That is nothing but the fungus. So this fungus is also the microorganisms and all, but few of them are visible to our naked eye. Okay, so here you can see the bark and having the white color patches over there, that is also the fungi. Okay, you can see them on the you can see in the wooden planks, okay, which are rotten, or else on the logs and all. So what are the things which are getting rotten or dumped things and all, like you can see observe the fungus. Now how do you observe the bacteria? Here, how to observe the fungus or fungi. Now, what you can take is, you can take some rotten part of vegetables or black spoiled part of bread or coconut or something, and that too with the help of a needle. What you can do is, you can place it on a slide and put a drop of water over that. Put a cover slate. You know what is cover slate? Yeah, the small glass, round glass, round or square, thin glass structures you can get in a laboratory. You can just put them on that and observe with the microscope. So whatever you observe, you can draw a rough sketch of that, and that is nothing but the fungi. So that is how you can easily identify the fungi, and also you can see what a fungus looks like. Coming to the bacteria. Now here in the last picture you can see the buttermilk. Okay, and if you are able to scrape some thing before washing your mouth or before brushing your teeth, so what you will scrape, okay, that also. And if you take some soil also, or if you take the bark of the trees or under your armpits and over your skin or on the tongue. So there are many places where bacteria usually lives, and these are not visible to our naked eye. These usually live in there, and that's why you wash your mouth, you brush your teeth regularly. What's the reason behind that? To remove the bacteria, because if there is something getting decayed on your teeth, the bacteria will definitely stay there, and they will also decay your teeth. That's why what we'll do is, we'll brush our teeth regularly, isn't it? And if you want to observe bacteria, it's very easy process. What you can do is, you have the buttermilk at your home, right? So take the buttermilk and heat the slide. Take the glass slide, and heat it for just 3 to 4 seconds. If you heat it more, it will break. And you just add some few drops of crystal violet, so that the bacteria can be easily observed under the violet kind of conditions and all. So leave that slide. Okay, you have taken some buttermilk on the slide, then you have kept the slide under the lamp for 3 to 4 seconds. You added some crystal violet color to that and leave it for 30 seconds. And now wash the slide gently. Don't rub it, just wash it. And now you observe under the microscope. If you observe under the microscope, you can find this kind of picture, because that crystal violet, okay, in that color, all these violet colored structures are nothing but the bacteria. These are the bacteria which you can observe under the microscope. Okay, so here you can see different kinds of bacteria present. Okay, you can check the bacteria over here. See, they are very beautiful, but sometimes they are useful to us, but most of them, they are harmful to us also. Okay, bacteria are basically like, they cause the skin diseases to us. You can see the bacterial infections on the skin. Are you able to see them? Yeah. And there is one bacteria which is very, very, very large in size, very huge in size. It's around 0.775 mm. The bacteria is Theomargarita nambiensis. Theomargarita nambiensis is the biggest bacteria, which is discovered by Heidi N. Schultz in coastal waters of Namibia. And this one you can directly see with your naked eye. You don't need any microscope to see this. Directly you can watch it. And if you go to a green pond, and what you can do is, you can take some pond water and then put it on the slide, observe under the microscope. So the water is green color because there are some microorganisms which are present in the water, which belong to the plant kingdom, that is algae. Algae is a plant kingdom, and you can find some structures which belong to the kingdom of algae. So you can see the chara, you can see the second one is Spirogyra, okay, algae. All these are the green algae. You can find all these kind of structures in the water. So these are all the different kinds of microorganisms, except a few in fungi. So most of them are microorganisms which we cannot see with our naked eye, around us and they are present around us, we are living with them. You know, half of the oxygen in the atmosphere is just produced by the microorganisms. That is how microorganisms are really helping us to get the oxygen, isn't it, children? So, the rest of the lesson we'll see tomorrow. Until then, take care. Bye.